Hello, you're watching James. My name's James, you're watching me, and I'm talking about watches. Now, I have to say, the watch that I'm going to be doing a first impressions of today is something that I knew I was going to buy the moment that I saw it. And the reason for that is because the two predecessors to this watch, the SNK and the SNZ series watches, are both watches that I've been rather interested in. There's a whole heap of information about them out there online, and I can't tell you how many times I've been online about to click that buy it now button, but there's just been something about both of them that have stopped me buying them, and in each time that I've been looking at it, I've just gone, no, it's just not quite the watch that I want, even though I really like them. So when this watch turned up and they released something which I think really fitted what I wanted out of a watch, I knew that I was going to have to buy it. I was just waiting for the right moment. So let's flip the camera around now and I'll give you my first impressions of this new Seiko Field watch, and let's see if it actually meets the expectations of what I'm hoping that it is going to be, and see if it is actually better than those two previous generation watches. Alright, let's check it out. So here we have the Seiko 5 SRPG27K. Comes in a fairly simple box, as you quite often get from Seiko. And here we go, just like that, on a nice black cushion. And I have to say, there's three things about this watch that stand out to me straight away. As soon as I pulled it out of the box, as soon as I had a quick look about it. The first thing was that domed crystal that's on the top of that dial there. That was a little bit unexpected. I was expecting a nice piece of flat hardlex, but this domed crystal is actually quite amazing. It really gives this watch a little bit of something extra, and at those sort of extreme angles you start seeing that distortion, which is really nice. The second thing that stands out to me is those numbers that are on the dial. They're applied and they're in like a brushed metal sort of texture, and when you see it on an angle or as the light passes over the top of it, they really glint and glitter at you, and it just really makes that dial something a little bit special even more. So you've got this lovely domed crystal, you've got these lovely sort of shining little beacons on the dial whenever the light catches it properly. And the third thing that really stood out to me is this really nice usable wearable size. And I'll stick it on wrist now just to show you what I mean by that. So as you can see, it just fits really nicely on my 6 3/4 inch wrist. I think it's a 39mm watch, so it's somewhere sort of in between the two previous generations of models, and it just fits nice. This particular size is starting to get a little bit more popular, a little bit more traction, and people really are starting to enjoy it a lot more than in previous years. So let's just have a bit of a look over it, shall we? I think it has about 100-meter water resistance, which means it does not have a screw down crown, it's just a push-pull. But it does have hacking and hand winding, which is a much improvement on those previous generations as well. The other thing that is absolutely fantastic is that they color match that date wheel. It really makes a difference in this model. I'm not sure with the other colors whether they're color matched as well, but on this particular variation it is, and it really makes that dial a lot nicer, much cleaner, much better presented. And the case finishing is really nice. It already has picked up a few smudges from my fingerprints, but there's sort of like a high polish on the side, circular brushing, and the circular brushing around that sort of bezel-less insert there as well. And you've got a display case back, which is quite nice to demonstrate and show off that movement inside. Now, the bracelet is not amazing. It's pretty much as expected from Seiko, especially at this sort of price. It has hollow end links. It is a folded metal style, but you can sort of see that line. I think they're sort of solid pieces of metal that are just folded over once to create those links. So they sort of feel solid, but they're not. And yes, as you'd expect, it has a pressed steel clasp, and that does certainly feel a little bit rattly and cheap. And in regards to rattle, it does rattle, and it actually squeaks a little bit when it was on wrist. So that's I'll be interested to see how it goes more long term on my wrist, whether I notice that sort of squeak or rattle. But it certainly is comfortable when I'm wearing it, and I'm not disappointed with it. I have been really looking forward to getting this watch in for review and to wear on my wrist as well. So that's my first impressions of this new Seiko Field watch. Well, it's not brand new now, but it's still relatively new to their lineup. I'm going to keep this on wrist for quite a while, as I usually do, at least 3 to 4 weeks before I do a full review. I do find it takes 3 to 4 weeks of me wearing it daily to get a really good understanding of a watch and all the little intricacies of it that I really want to point out to you when I do a full review. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching, and stick around for the full review of this one, and please check out my other videos.